Hi, everyone, and welcome to the next edition of the MEDENT Well IQ educational webinar series. My name is Vikash Sanyal, and we're going to be talking about marketing today. I want to start off actually by thanking MEDENT again for this great opportunity. We love this partnership ever since the first day that we met the MEDENT team and heard their philosophy about how their clients come first and how they want to help all of their accounts become smarter, healthier organizations. We completely bought in because we share that same goal at Well IQ. So couldn't be more excited for this partnership and just can't wait to see where it can grow. This is a pre-recorded webinar, and one of the drawbacks of that, unfortunately, is that it doesn't allow you the opportunity to ask questions or make comments as I'm presenting and get immediate feedback. And we apologize for that, but we still want it to be interactive. So if you do have questions or comments, please email us at either medent@welliq.org, or you can email me directly at vikash@welliq.org, and we will do our best to get back to you as quickly as possible. So there's a great movie, one of my favorite movies, called Field of Dreams, and there's a famous line that says, if you build it, they will come. And we love that. If you're trying to get ghost baseball players to a cornfield in Iowa, but in the real world of marketing in today's business environment, this philosophy is absolutely wrong. And the sad thing is, and what scares us a bit is, as we've done our research and spoken with more and more healthcare facilities and practices, many of them are employing the if you build it, they will come marketing philosophy, which basically means their thought is, hey, if we have a great patient experience and we provide really high customer service, that'll be enough. And it really should be, but unfortunately in today's marketing world, it's not. It isn't enough to just have a great product. You have to have a mechanism and a system in place that can let people know you have this great product. And that's what we're going to talk about more as we move forward. What are the objectives for this webinar? I mean, look, we got to be transparent. I mean, we would absolutely love it if you heard this webinar and you felt like, gosh, I got to sign up for the Well IQ platform right away. But that's not really our main objective. Our main objective for today is simply to get you fired up to make marketing a priority for your organization. If you walk away with one thing, and that's you're more excited about marketing, then we actually would be pretty happy about that. So as we move forward and as we talk about this, we want this to be a relatable presentation. We want you to hear the stories and think, gosh, I totally get that. And so this is an actual case study that's based on a Well IQ client that we've been working with for more than a year. And we just are hoping that you can relate to their situation. They were a local healthcare practice. They are a local healthcare practice. They have a large national competitor nearby with a much higher brand recognition. They really don't have much of a marketing budget to speak of, and they also don't have any employees that are dedicated solely to marketing efforts. Despite the fact that they're continually encouraging their patients to leave online reviews and reminding them to do so, after years, they still only had 27 Google reviews. And moreover, the great majority of the patients tell them how great their services are, but yet their Google rating was only 2.8. And that only shows that consumers, unfortunately, are more inclined to share a negative story than a positive story. And they needed to change that. And really, I mean, they did want to put more focus onto marketing, but they weren't sure where to start and they weren't sure what to do. So our hope is that you see this list, you hear the story a little bit and you think, I get that. Maybe not all of it, but hopefully there's at least some things that you can relate to on this list. So you see this picture here of this speeding bullet train. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to create a sense of urgency for you to make a priority, for you to make marketing a priority in your organization. And really understand that marketing is not a nice to have, it's a must have in today's world. And every day that goes by that you don't commit to implementing a well thought out marketing strategy, you're falling further behind. And any good company should try to lead, not follow. And again, this is the sense of urgency that we're trying to convey, is that we hope you'll hear this and you'll think, yeah, I got to get on this marketing stuff. It's really important. So the first part of any good marketing strategy is built upon understanding your target audience. And it's hard to do because the target audience is continually changing. Your customer now is more in charge of their care than ever before. Today's consumer has a world of research available to them just a few keystrokes away. And modern consumers are more involved with their healthcare decisions than ever before. And increasingly, they're relying on online reputation to choose their providers. The stats show that 72% of internet users search for information about doctors or other healthcare professionals before engaging with that practice. 38% of internet users search for information about hospitals and other medical facilities. And 75% of Americans use social media to research their health symptoms. So consumers are not laying back anymore. They are now fully in charge of their healthcare. And what really matters to them as they're doing this research? Well, it comes down to three things. One, how recent are reviews on your online profile? Two, what's the quality of the reports that you're getting? And then lastly, quantity. How many reviews does your business have? Let's jump into recency. So 48% of consumers are only impacted by reviews from the last 2 weeks. That's up from 40% last year and only 18% in 2017. So what that tells you is that this trend is not going away. People want your reviews to be fresh because it shows them that your business is active and that your patients are engaged. 84% of consumers believe that online reviews older than 3 months aren't relevant, and only 3% of consumers are influenced by reviews that are older than a year. So again, keep your reviews fresh. Quality. How are you going to be measured? Well, consumers are going to judge your practice, obviously, on average star rating. But what we're finding is the content of the testimonials that your patients share is equally important. And what you want is you want personal stories. You want patients to talk about scenarios that will share how your practice made them feel special with specific examples and talk about specific people on your staff. The more personal it is, the more the people are going to believe it. And how many reviews are enough? Well, you can never have enough reviews. Just think about it. When you analyze a business, when you're doing online research, what do you look for? I know that when I'm traveling, one of the things that I'll do is if I'm looking for a restaurant or if I'm looking for a hotel or just something to do, and I'm looking at reviews, if I had these two options, option A and option B, I would choose option B because even though it's slightly less highly rated, there's so many more reviews. And so that rating has so much more credibility. So this is what your patients are looking at, and this is why quantity matters to them as well. You have to understand that your patients are your best marketers. And I'm sure you do understand this. Your patients have credibility. According to Search Engine Land, 85% of consumers trust online reviews as much as personal recommendations. Think about that. You could have a good friend come and tell you, oh, this is a great doctor, or this is a great restaurant. You really should check it out. But 85% of people are going to put as much weight on going online and reading somebody's online profile. That's really interesting. Beyond that, the majority of patients have listed online reviews as the most influential decision-making factor when choosing a provider. So your patients have the power, and they can really help you by becoming the key part of your marketing team. Your patients are also your greatest untapped resource. And the reason is they're accessible. You can actually talk to your patients and give them tools that are going to make them build your online profile. Your practice can implement this strategy today without any significant increase in your marketing budget, just by doing the right things. And as we've already talked about, this is the best way to make an impact. You can immediately improve your online profile and give this new consumer exactly what they want and exactly what they're looking for. So really, what you need to do is you need to create a marketing machine. And that means you need to implement a system that's going to generate new reviews on a continual basis. And when we say a system, you got to be aggressive. You got to be proactive. Don't build it and wait for people to come. Instead of being passive, you got to initiate contact with your patients and make it happen. But being aggressive and reaching out, that's just one step of it, because you also have to be consistent. You can't view this as a short-term effort, something that you're going to put some resources behind and then ultimately build a profile that you stop working on in months. It can't be something that you do for a short period of time, but rather it's got to be a change in the way you manage and operate your business. If you can have a nice sustained effort, you are going to have long-term success. Um, and the other thing is you got to make it easy for your customers. I mean, I hate to say it, but consumers are selfish and they're lazy. I mean, I know I am. If it's too hard for me to provide feedback, I won't do it. But one of the great things about Well IQ is it actually creates a bridge from the survey that you'll send to a review platform. Now, I need to take a step back here because I'm going forward with the assumption that most of you or all of you have actually gone through the Well IQ demo. And that may be a faulty assumption. If it is, I apologize. And we will do a demo at the end of this presentation for those of you who haven't seen it, so you can experience firsthand what we're talking about. But in a nutshell, the Well IQ platform is a visually based survey system that really utilizes badges and pictures of staff that make it easier and more fun for patients to provide feedback. And what it does beautifully is it empowers patients so they can become more engaged, but it also empowers your organization because it gives you real-time information on how you're doing so you can improve things as they're taking place. And so again, we'll get into it more at the end of the presentation if you haven't seen it, but it's a very innovative system. And there's even actually more to the badge system because it actually guides reviewers, and it helps them write testimonials by providing keywords because they see them in the badge system program. And the other benefit of that is it creates a consistency in terminology when people are writing their testimonials, and that leads to more frequent mentions of keywords, which ultimately will elevate your position in Google rankings and move your company up in SEO rankings. So you must create a marketing machine, and I think everybody would agree with that. And a system is needed. Well, IQ could be that system. And again, it stinks when people give presentations and they're trying to educate, but they talk all theoretical and not really applicable. And so we really want to give you some hardline data that you could say, okay, I can see what I could expect. So this is based on our clients. Right now, for every 100 surveys that get sent out, 25 of them, about 25 are getting opened up. That 25% open rate is really significant because typically the industry average for other surveys is only about 10%. So that just kind of shows how effective this new survey that's visually based is. But beyond that, 50% of these surveys that get opened turn into online reviews, which means that for every 100 surveys that get sent out, you can expect 3 to 4 new reviews to occur or to be happening on your online profile. That's the freshness you need. That's the quantity you need. And that's also the quality you need because you're going to have more happy patients sharing their story. So ultimately, is it worth the effort? Sure. I mean, qualitatively, we've got stories. We've got a really great account. Heather Manley is the Chief Operating Officer, and she gave us this quote. We always wanted to make patient feedback a priority and simplified. However, we struggled with finding the right tool to maximize patient participation. Well IQ helped us understand that the best marketing resource we had was all of our happy patients and their feedback. Thanks to our patients, we have become a marketing force. That makes us really happy to hear that. And we're glad that we were able to help work partners and that relationship continues to grow. But beyond the stories, there's bottom line facts that support the importance of putting this system in place. Businesses with an average star rating between 4 and 4.5 earn 28% more annual revenue than other companies with lower ratings. The Harvard Business Review published a study that found that for every 1-star increase a brand receives, that business sees a 5 to 9% increase in revenue. So again, going back to the whole thought of marketing is not a nice to have, it's a must have. Marketing will grow your profits. It'll make you a healthier business, which will be good for everyone. So Let's jump back to the case study, something we like to call the Well IQ effect. So 12 months later, you still have that large nationally branded competitor, and we checked on their online profile and saw that they had 150 reviews and they had a Google rating of 3.2. Now, our client, they did not increase their marketing budget. They still did not dedicate any employees solely to marketing. So there weren't any huge adjustments in terms of the resources that were being dedicated. But they did implement the Well IQ system. And what happened was the number of Google reviews they had grew from 27 to over 500. And their Google rating increased from 2.8 to 4.8. So this could be you. I mean, there's no reason to believe that if you have similarities to this company and you put a system in place that's going to empower your patients and make it easier for them to tell great things to other people about your practice, why couldn't this be you? Our priority, our objective for this was that we wanted you to make marketing a priority. We wanted you to punch that ticket and get on that speeding bullet train, because the world of marketing is moving at a fast pace, and the longer it takes you to commit, the further behind you're going to fall. But we also wanted to present a story and give you facts so you could get that sense of urgency and say, gosh, I really get this. The world of marketing, consumer has changed. I have to change with it. And if you do change with it, it isn't just a pat on the back, oh, people think better about us. It is going to drive profit. And that's the reason why this marketing commitment is a must-to-have and not a nice-to-have. So again, if you have any questions, please let us know. You can, again, contact us at MEDENT@welliq.org or vikash@welliq.org. I really appreciate this time together. As I mentioned, we will be doing a demo now for any of you who have not experienced the Well IQ platform. But if you have already seen that demo, please feel free to drop off. We really appreciate it this time to talk to you about marketing, and we hope you enjoyed it.
So let's try out the demo. What I want you to do is text the word demo to 858-314-3503. And it's going to give you an example of a patient survey. You're going to get a text message back with a link. And when you touch that link, you're going to be dropped into an example survey. So again, the number and the word to text is in the bottom left corner here. But once you do open it, you're going to see this example. And the first page is just an overview of why you should be giving some feedback. We always like to put an incentive in here. We suggest it, maybe a quarterly patient appreciation drawing. And then at the bottom, you see the language. So there's many different languages we can do. By default, we have English and Spanish, but we can customize that. And you can change it quickly and go back to English if you like. And this is a patient journey that has 3 different touch points: the reception, the medical assistant, and the clinician. So in this case, I'm going to say, you know what, I saw Nancy, I remember her. And as soon as I proceed to the next screen, I have the opportunity to choose endorsement badges, which represents the behaviors that are important to us, what we expect from this positive patient experience. And it's a way for us to measure up against it. By default, I think the ones you're seeing are going to be all positive, but we can customize these to be non-positive. But of course, if you scroll down, after I choose a few of these badges, I can always write some feedback in the bottom that maybe is going to reinforce the great behavior I saw, or it may explain a bad experience I had too. Once I've done that, now I can start to proceed through. So the medical assistants, if you wanted to, you could choose one of them. Same with physicians. There'll be a screen on the facility, and then eventually we get to this. How did we do overall? And you see the 5 faces here. Now, if I were to select the sad faces, it would actually create that actionable event and we would be notified by it. In any case, once you move on, you may see this. It's a spin for raffle entries. So you can spin the wheel if there was an incentive set up. And on the last page, you're going to have the opportunity to go out to public review sites and leave your review. And this can be Google, Yelp, Facebook, whatever you may want to put in there as an actual practice. So it's very simple. It's the easiest to use survey that gets you the most data that you can possibly have about staff, departments, and the organization overall. I'm also going to quickly run through just a couple of the pages that are available should you want to log into the actual WellIQ dashboard, because you're able to see a lot here. It shows you the number of surveys you're sending out, which is that top portion of this dashboard. It has your overall patient satisfaction or your WellIQ score. It tells you how many surveys have been sent and completed, and what are the top behaviors, the top endorsements that the patients have been giving your staff. You can then also look at the department and which one has been receiving the most engagements, as well as the staff, so that you can see who's been excelling this particular month. And at the bottom, again, addressable events where you want to take action. One of the reports we really like is the most engaged staff, because it starts to show by location, by date range, what are the behaviors that the staff members are receiving and who's receiving the most of them. This can impact training and so much more in your organization, but it's here on a simple screen where you can report and analyze on it. We have the overall patient satisfaction report where it breaks it down by location. Again, a great measurement is just how are your patients responding, because this is going to give you that subset of patients that you'll be able to start identifying where you're going right and where there could be some improvements. And finally, I just like this report as well. It is the most used badges report, and it shows you what are the behaviors that are resonating the most with your patients. And just like you see the ones that are resonating, the ones that are lower on the scale, they may be areas that you would like to improve on. So a great way to start seeing how patients are engaging with you and what they believe is the positive impact you're having. All of that ties back to a great patient experience, being able to get feedback on it, and then taking actions on the feedback you've received. And with that, I want to remind you again that it's medent@welliq.org. Please email us. We're happy to have more conversations. We're happy to describe more of what we do, take you through demos, but we're very excited about our partnership with MEDENT and how we're impacting patient experience, as well as many other areas. So stay tuned for more of our webinar series. And again, I want to thank you for taking the time.